Right, the topic of this video will be a bit different today. Basically, who hasn't heard of the phrase, in order to love other people, you have to love yourself? People say loving yourself is one of the most important things you can do. It's one of the, it's how you can become self-confident. But how do you do that? You can't, when I've been first told this, I sort of thought, well, how do you go about that? I mean, you can't just say, oh well, yes, I love myself. There's no way you can just sort of say positive things about yourself and suddenly it will miraculously fall into place. There has to be something more to it. And I found that loving yourself and gaining confidence comes from knowing yourself. I think actually you can have a relationship with yourself as you do with other people. So you tend to come to love somebody by knowing them very intimately, and the same with yourself. Because some of the time, you may find that you don't actually know yourself as well as you might think. So I think the way I found to come to love myself, or to come to sort of discover how to love oneself in general, is first through coming to know yourself and coming to sort of know the sort of intimacies of your own personality and accepting that, and truly accepting all the flaws that go with it. And that comes from living life to some extent and sort of finding out those things. So for me, I think sort of loving yourself is a sort of very long process of self-discovery, as is transition, which is why I think this sort of video links in with my others. And I think it comes from, sort of looking at yourself and taking everything and saying, yeah, that's good, that's me, that's who I want to be, is who I like to be, and that's it. But I think also it's acceptance of knowing that, I suppose, a relationship with yourself isn't going to be perfect, as with any other relationship. You have different sides of yourself, you have different feelings, different personas, different moods, and there will be some of the time where you don't like certain aspects of yourself, but that's okay as well. I think it's very important to accept those sort of negative elements and not always try to strive to be perfect, not try to strive to be the perfect person or always do things right, I think if anyone's read Brave New World, I think that describes quite well this what happens when you do achieve what would be considered perfection. Basically, it describes a future dystopian society where people are put into prescribed roles. Sound familiar? Anyway, this is far more exaggerated than in our society, where you have the alpha, beta, gamma, and delta, and epsilons, which is in order of rank. So alphas are the most intelligent, betas, gammas, deltas, and finally the epsilons at the bottom of society, who are workers, and all biologically created and programmed via children's education to like the roles and be moulded into them. And there is no love as we would know it, and no procreation, no sex. That's seen as barbaric. Instead, babies are created by science and cloning, that sort of thing. The main point is this sort of society that the reader sort of reads and thinks, God, is this a sort of society that we're going to live in the future? It sort of seems horrifying in the way it's described in such a detached, immoral tone. When you first read it, you think, that this is an awful society and I wouldn't want to live in it. But at the end, I think, is it the head governor or something like that? His Ford ship. That's it. Yeah, it's quite funny. Mustafa Mond. He explains, well, the reason why we come to this is that it eliminates pain, it eliminates suffering, it eliminates war, it eliminates conflict, and I suppose, you know, there are a lot of people in this world who would like to see the end of war, the end of suffering, the end of pain, but what you're left with at the end of it. And I think Brave New World sort of puts that across quite eloquently in that way. You know, when you have perfection, it's quite bland, it's quite, it's not human really, I suppose. So, that comes back to the sort of subject of knowing yourself. It's taking all those imperfections, warts and all, as they say, and accepting that and facing that, and knowing that there will be days where, you know, maybe you don't sort of feel good about yourself and all that sort of thing. But as I said, it's sort of a long process that will work itself out to some extent over time. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I suppose it's sort of a different topic to most of my videos. Oh yeah, one last thing. I've seen, well, it's during the time I've been on YouTube for about, I don't know, a year and a half now, and I find that, you know, there are some videos where basically somebody says basically nothing for 2 minutes. They just sort of, you know, so talking like that, basically, you know, just not really sort of getting to any point, or just introduce themselves saying, "Hi, my name's so and so, blah 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 blah," and then they get like 500,000 views and like 3 honours or something. You think, where the hell does that come from? Like, there's no content in the video, and then they somehow get views, and I don't get that. But anyway, yeah, I'll finish the video there.